and she could have been.
Stop. As you may know, I have a sore point for under prosecuted vehicular accidents with an injury. That all goes to whether this should have been a felony rather than a misdemeanor. And so it is terrible. But we got a misdemeanor. We're trying to figure out the restitution. So the fact that it was bad is bad, but it doesn't, isn't relevant to the restitution. All right, Mr. Gibson, why don't you come up? Mr. Martin, why don't you also come up and have a seat? Mr. Barnett will be with you in a few minutes. Good morning. Are you Devon Allen Martin?
Yes.
This is file number 251308 FD. This started out in the original complaint as a felony. FD is a felony designation, charged with operating with a high blood alcohol level, operating with an incapacitating injury. Let's look at the original charging document. Thank you. All right, the original complaint alleged that on July 6th of 2025, in this case, which is 251308 FD, People versus Devon Martin, the defendant was charged with operating while intoxicated, causing a serious injury, operating with a high blood alcohol level, and reckless driving. I don't believe there was an affidavit that accompanied it. The felony charges were dismissed and the drinking driving charge was dismissed. And the defendant ended up entering a plea to reckless driving. Reckless driving is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It does carry a suspension of some time, 60 days, I think, and 6 points. So the felony charge of operating with an incapacitating injury was dismissed, and the operating while intoxicated was dismissed.
Your Honor.
Yes.
He actually pled guilty to operating with BAC, high BAC.
All right. Well, that's what I show here, I guess. Let me look at it. Thank you, Priscilla. So the settlement, thank you, resolve the, I'm looking for the judgment, resolve the case with a conviction, but the restitution was not negotiated as a part of the plea agreement. The defendant was sentenced on the 8th. Let me look for the judgment. I had all this earlier this morning.
I was sentenced on the 5th of January.
All right, the 5th, I guess it was.
Just so you know, do the judgment. So
I've got it in here. I had looked at it earlier this morning. If I could find it, nothing's in order. It's just all willy-nilly. At any rate, we did not have the restitution information at that time, and the issue had not been resolved, so I reserved on the issue of restitution. A few days later, on February 12th, we got the request for restitution. So the sentence had been completed. I reserved on restitution. Another month passed before we got the amended request for restitution, asking for $4,097.42. A floor jack, jumper cables, prescription sunglasses, loss of PTO hours, $2,710.72. Work done to make AC and car work shortly before the accident. Mr. Gibson objects to paying for a repair that preceded the accident and the tires that the victim did not get the full benefit of. So I'm not sure how that shakes out, but the request was for $4,097.42. If I'd had this information at the time of the sentence, I would have dealt with it then. Or hopefully it would have maybe been negotiated as part of the plea, but we didn't have that. So the defendant objects. Prosecutor is now requesting restitution of $4,097.42. And I can't just wave my magic wand and make that happen, so we set it for a hearing. Angelique Camfield is here on behalf of the prosecutor. It looks like we may also have additional witnesses. Ms. Camfield, what's the position of the state here?
Well, Your Honor, the position of the state is that the testimony will provide the court evidence that even though there was some insurance recovery for the vehicle, it was a total loss. The vehicle needed to be replaced. And as a result of that, some of the repairs to the vehicle that were just prior to, inclusive of replacing and re-energizing an air conditioning system, as well as placing new tires on the vehicle, were not fully realized because the vehicle was then totaled. And as the court is aware, insurance companies often do not pay the entire value of a vehicle when they total it. They pay what they think is appropriate. And in this particular situation, I believe it would be covered under In Re McAvoy 267 Mishap 55 at pages 77 through 88.
Okay,
That
slow
said,
down.
The restitution is not just.
All
the
right, well,
amount of
give me
what
the
insurance
citation. Give me
company-
the citation again.
I'm sorry, 267 Mishap, page 55. And then it's pages 77 through 78, a 2005 case. That said, it's not appropriate to order just what the insurance company would have compensated them for the damaged property, but rather the actual loss that was sustained by replacement value. And obviously, if you're only paid $3,000 for a vehicle and you would like to replace it with another Prius or another operative vehicle, in today's market, that is not going to suffice.
Well, this is a subject we teach at sentencing in new judge school. This is an interesting question in that they're asking for pre-existing expenditures. It isn't automatically the restitution is what the insurance will pay for the car. The hypothetical example we give is somebody's mother has a Mercury Marquis that's in really mint shape. She drives it back and forth to church every Sunday, and it's a 1997. It's worth a lot of money to her. It's ruined. The insurance company pays $1,500 for it, and to replace it would be $7,000 to $10,000. It's a question that comes up all over the state all the time. In this case, I don't know what the vehicle was, how much it was paid for. Now, some of the things are easy to determine. things that were lost that were not recovered. The jack, jumper cables, prescription sunglasses. I never had anybody ask for the cost of tire iron before. Work done to make the car before the accident, $559.59 and $4,000 or $424. So there's a lot of money that she's asking for something that presumably would have been part of the settlement on the car. $559.59 plus $424.84 is $984.43 for tires and AC. I didn't see that one coming. The other one is PTO hours, 2007-10.
Your Honor, I can tell you that the testimony regarding the PTO hours will be the victim's father. It's my understanding that he had to cash out his PTO hours in order to have enough money, along with adding in the insurance recovery, in order to purchase another vehicle for the victim to have to get back and forth to work, the grocery store, and to do her daily living. They just did not have those funds available without him doing so. So that will, of course, be a decision of the court with respect to that. I know the victims is absolutely recoverable. There will be testimony from her
Yeah,
about the
the
hours.
victims are. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if her fathers are.
There'll be testimony from her loss of income as well as how it affected her work.
All right. Well, let's get started. This is gonna take us a while here.
Call.
We didn't, I guess I would say that I don't have any information on any of the injuries that were sustained, because I guess that's what where I see the request for restitution, but we never got any information about the cause, like in a sense, what injury was suffered from the accident that's made it where the person couldn't work, I guess.
The medical records were all provided in the discovery of the underlying case, Your Honor. Mr. Gibson has had those for quite some time. The victim was taken to the hospital.
Yes. There's no hospital costs or anything in here.
Correct.
All right.
It's my understanding those were covered by medical and or vehicle insurance.
I guess I apologize. We do have medical records. I guess what I'm saying is that I didn't know what the.
Well, I'm just
injury was.
frustrated. I wish this had been negotiated as part of the plea agreement. He got a sweet benefit of having the matter reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor. And it could have been conditioned on agreeing upon the restitution amount. So we have a half an hour scheduled for about a 3-hour hearing. And so we also have Mr. George. Is that the only one you have this morning? Let's table this for a moment. Let's finish Mr. George's sentence, and then we'll come back to this. Yeah. Or I'll shut the record off. The live stream is on. I'll caution everyone. All right, let's return to People versus Devon Allen Martin. We lost Priscilla. I think she'll be back here with us shortly. As we indicated, the matter was originally charged as a felony, operating with an incapacitating injury. The defendant's blood alcohol was 0.24. He pled to a charge of operating with a high blood alcohol level, and the court was unable to determine restitution at the time of the sentence. Still looking for the judgment, which Priscilla sent me, but I know it's in here. At any rate,
She's right. Autumn's office.
the as I indicated, about a month after the sentence, we received the request for restitution, and then it was an amended one. And I had reserved on the issue of restitution. To pick up where we left off, a defendant requested $4,097.42. $984 of that were for some work that was done to the car before the accident and some tires. And then some items that were missing, a floor jack, jumper cables, and prescription sunglasses. Tire iron would, I guess, be part of the car. At any rate, Ms. Campfield, what's our position here?
Your Honor, after some further conversations with counsel, it's my understanding that we'll be able to limit the testimony to matters in dispute, but at this time, the defendant would stipulate to restitution for the floor jack of $69.95, the jumper cables of $31.78, the prescription sunglasses for $273, and the tire iron for $27.54. So that's a total of $402.27. And then we'll have to present testimony as to the other expenses.
All right. Are you prepared to do that?
Of course.
Mr. Gibson, you agree, and Mr. Martin, you agree to restitution on those items?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and the defendant did indicate. All right, let's proceed.
And thank you, Your Honor. We'll call Ms. Kayla Shockley to the stand.
Please come forward if you would. Come right up here in the witness box. I'm sorry, we didn't give you very good instructions. Oh, wait a minute. Instruct people how to bring their witness from there to here, and we kind of got off track here. Would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
All right, would you have a seat and state and spell your name for me?
I am Michaela Shockley. You said spell.
Go ahead,
You said spell.
spell it.
It's spelled MICHAELASHOCKLEY.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Shockley. I'm going to take you and back to July 5th of 2025, ma'am. Do you recall that day?
I do.
In the evening time at approximately what would be 11:30-ish, were you driving your vehicle?
I was.
Where were you driving your vehicle?
I was driving home after work.
On what road, ma'am?
US 131.
And was that within St. Joseph County, ma'am?
It was.
And as you were driving home from work, did something unusual happen?
It did.
Were you involved in a motor vehicle accident?
I was.
What was the vehicle you were driving at that time?
A 2013 Model 4 Prius.
What was the color?
Navy blue.
Can you tell me what special things a Model 4 has in it that maybe some other Prius models do not?
It has a backup camera. It has a navigation system. And hands-free.
Enhanced braking, you said?
Hands-free mode.
Oh, hands-free, thank you. All right. And as you were driving home that night on July 5th of last year after the accident, was the vehicle operable?
It was not.
Would you recollect how it looked after the accident if you saw photographs of same?
I would.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes,
I'm going to show you People's Proposed Exhibit 1, and for the record, all the People's Exhibits have been shown to the defense. Do you recognize that photograph, ma'am?
I do.
Is that your vehicle?
It is.
Is that subsequent to the accident that you were involved in?
It is.
Is that the accident that the defendant was convicted for drunk driving for?
It is.
Right, and I'm going to show you people's proposed exhibit 2. First of all, exhibit 1, can you tell me which portion of the vehicle that shows?
Yes. That is my trunk from where he impacted.
And exhibit 2, do you recognize that, ma'am?
I do.
What is that a picture of?
That is the left-hand side, the driver's side of my car.
All right, were you seat belted at the time of this accident?
I was.
And let me ask you, when you were subsequently removed from the vehicle, were you able to get out of the vehicle on your own?
No,
When you were removed by medical personnel, were you able to see the exterior of the vehicle?
no, because I was very dizzy from hitting my head.
All right. Did you subsequently see your vehicle as depicted in the conditions in proposed exhibits 1 and 2?
I did.
Okay. Do those accurately depict how it looked after the accident?
It does.
Okay, move for admission of exhibits 1 and 2, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
1 and 2 may be received.
May I ask you, Ms. Shockley, were your airbags deployed in the Prius when you were struck?
Yes.
Can you tell me if there was just one impact by the defendant or more than that?
It felt like two.
Do you recall, and I know that you said you were busy, did you strike your head?
I did.
And did you have medical treatment after the accident?
I did.
What type of medical treatment did you have?
I had a CT scan due to the fact that I have a spinal fusion from a previous accident in 2018 that left me with missing intestines as well. And so I'm a priority CT scan for my spinal fusion if I'm involved in a serious accident. And I also received pain medication due to the severity of my sprained shoulder and the pain from my head.
Okay, let's go over your injuries. You said you had a sprained shoulder.
Yes.
Did you have to have?
Just a minute. These are all good arguments about why this matter should not have been reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor. But I'm trying to zero in on the restitution. These are compelling arguments. I think a jury would have enjoyed hearing all this. But they don't go to our money issue.
Your Honor, they're going to go to a request of this victim for 3 days of lost pay.
Okay.
So,
Well, you could just ask, did you lose, because of your medical treatment, did you lose 3 days of pay?
certainly, Your Honor. You said a head injury and a shoulder injury, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you able to work immediately thereafter?
I was not. I had severe whiplash and could hardly move the next day after.
How many days were you off of work?
If you do not include my already 2 scheduled days off, I would have been off a total of 5 days.
Where do you work?
I work at Wagner's grocery store in Matawan. I am the night manager.
What is your rate of pay as the night manager at Wagner's at that time?
$14.73.
When you say that, is that $14.73 per hour?
Yes.
And on those 5 days, would you have worked an 8-hour shift each day, or do you work overtime as a manager?
I work an average of 2 hours of overtime a week.
All right, so for those 5 days and the overtime, would you have been approximately 42 hours?
Yes.
And that was lost due to the injuries from this accident? Now, with respect to that, your $14.73 is your normal hourly rate. Is there an additional compensation for the 2 hours of overtime?
Yes, it is time and a half.
Thank you. So that would have covered 2 hours and then the regular rate for 40 of those hours? Is that accurate? I'm sorry, is that yes?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
Because we're having you testify, sometimes although we're making a video of it, they'll need to transcribe it later. So we need verbal responses if you can recall.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Did you have any items other than what have already been stipulated to within the vehicle that were not recovered or paid for by insurance?
I did.
What were those things?
I had a snow brush that was personal to myself. A couple items of clothing that were in the car as well, and some lip balm and other like pens and miscellaneous items.
Are you seeking compensation for those items?
I am not.
Okay. Now, was there an insurance claim made on this vehicle?
There was.
Was it registered in your name or someone else's?
It is registered in my father's name,
And his name, please?
Ralph Schibler.
And I'll have Mr. Schibler testify, but if you'll recall, prior to this accident, was there any maintenance that was done on the vehicle in close time to the accident in July of last year that was necessary to keep it operable and working well and safely?
At the beginning of June, we had the air conditioning redone due to the fact that it went out over the winter. And we had, I believe, December, we had the tires replaced.
Do you recollect about how many miles you would drive in a week on those replaced tires?
I can't do a large math in my head, unfortunately.
Okay.
I drive an average of 32 miles a day to work, and then 32 miles home.
All right, and you work about 5 days a week?
Yes,
You would have had some small errand miles on it for grocery store, things of that nature? Okay. Do you believe that at the time of the accident, the tires that had been replaced in December still had a decent tread on them, if you know?
from when the air conditioning was worked on, they told us that our tires were perfect.
Did you have to have any subsequent medical treatment for your whiplash and sprained shoulder or a cost of any pain medications that were not covered by any insurance?
No, I did not.
Thank you, Ms. Shockley. Nothing further.
So as far as your work, when you get paid, do they take out money toward taxes or other deductions?
They do.
So your after-tax earnings would be approximately 85% of what your earnings are, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you, after this accident, did you get in touch with your insurance company?
My father did.
Did you receive some type of insurance benefits as a result of the accident?
We did, yes.
Did you get what could be called, did you get compensation for lost wages through your insurance company?
No,
Do you know why you didn't get those?
I do not.
So was the car totaled?
It was.
And so did your father get, I guess you could say, a payout for the cost of the car or the value of the car?
No, it didn't get equivalent to the value of what the car was.
Did the insurance company did he get any benefits as a result of the accident then?
We got some restitution.
Was the, okay, I have no further questions.
Ms. Shockley, did the vehicle insurance cover the floor jack,
It did not.
the jumper cables?
It did not.
Did it cover the prescription sunglasses?
No,
Did it pay for the tire iron?
no, it did not.
And just to rehash this, did the insurance give any wage loss for those 5 days that you were out of work? Do you recall receiving any of that? Or is that a better question for your father?
Actually, I think I did, Dad. I did. I received some of. Yeah, I did.
Do you know if it's a reduced amount, such about like 83% or so?
The insurance company did not communicate that to us, whether or not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Shockley. I'm sorry I had to go through all this. You may step down.
Your Honor, I'll call Ralph Schindler to the stand.
Good afternoon or good morning, Mr. Schindler. You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you have a seat? Spell your last name for us.
Shibler is spelled S-H-I, B as in boy, L-E-R.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Schindler.
One.
I'm going to take you back to July 5th of 2025, sir. Your daughter was involved in a motor vehicle accident, is that correct?
Yes,
At the time, she was driving a 2013 Prius Model 4.
yes,
Is that vehicle registered and owned by you?
yes.
All right. Just prior to that accident on July 5th of 2025, have there been some reparations or maintenance done to keep the vehicle safe and operative?
Yes, the air conditioning had went out over the winter, and so it had to be overhauled and recharged. So
All right.
we had that done.
May I approach, Your Honor? Did you provide my office a receipt for that?
Yes, I did.
And would you recognize it if you saw it again?
Yes, I will.
I'm showing you People's Proposed Exhibit 5. Do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, I do.
And is that the receipt for the air conditioning reparation that you were just speaking of?
Yes, it is.
And that was done at what date?
It was done on the exact day of 5/19.
All right, of 2025, sir?
Yes,
So just about a month and a half prior to the vehicle accident, is that?
Yep.
Right. And did the insurance company compensate you at all for having had this air conditioning unit work done?
Nope.
Okay. Did you make a claim to insurance that included that?
I tried, but they denied it.
Okay. And has this been changed in any other manner from when you provided it, other than the exhibit sticker being added?
Nope.
I'm going to move for admission of Exhibit 5, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
Our Exhibit 5 may be received.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you also your daughter, Ms. Shockley, had testified about some new tires on the vehicle about December of 24. So
Yes,
about 6 months or so prior to the
Yes.
accident fair. Did you pay for those tires, sir?
yes, I did.
And did you have a receipt that you provided
Yes.
our office as well?
Yes,
Would you recognize that if you saw it? I'm going to show you People's Proposed Exhibit 4. Do you recognize that, sir?
yes,
Does that contain the receipt for the tires that you put on the Prius prior to the accident?
Yes, it does.
And is it accurate but for the addition of the exhibit sticker?
Yes.
And what date were those purchased?
Those were purchased on my birthday, 12/5.
Well, happy late birthday, or early birthday for this year. All right, and has it been modified at all?
No,
All
not at all.
right, move for admission of exhibit 4, Your Honor.
Any objection? All right, number 4 is also admitted.
So, Mr. Schindler, when they went in for the air conditioning to be refurbished or repaired in May of 2025, did they take an overall look at the vehicle to ensure everything else was operative and safe?
Yes. they informed
Did that
me.
include an inspection of the tires?
Yes,
Were the tires in still a relatively pristine or unused condition?
yes,
Let me ask you, when you purchased them in December of the prior year, were they new?
yes.
Okay, so there had only been several thousand miles over those 6 months placed on that tire.
Correct.
Did the insurance company compensate you for the new tires that were lost during the accident?
Nope.
Let me ask you, sir, do you know what the approximate blue book value of the Prius was around the date of your daughter's accident?
It's depending on conditions between 14 and 15.9.
When all was said and done with the insurance, well, who's your insurance company?
At that time, it was Pioneer Mutual.
What type of insurance did you have on the vehicle?
Full coverage.
So comprehensive as well as PLPD?
No, that's not full coverage. Comprehensive and PLPD is different than full coverage. So you had full coverage on the vehicle.
Okay,
Good for you.
thank you, Judge. Now, when you submitted the claim for your daughter Michaela's accident, did Pioneer pay you out on the vehicle?
Yes,
Did they choose to total the vehicle?
yes.
What was the total payment that you received?
I believe it was 3,900.
When was that paid to you?
It was paid towards the end of July.
Now, there were some questions that we asked Ms. Shockley regarding wage loss reimbursement. Do you recollect any claim being made for her wage loss to the insurance company Pioneer?
I don't recall it, but I think she's right. I think they did give her like a $300 check or something like that.
Okay.
I think they covered like 2 days.
So of the 5 days that were lost, you believe insurance only covered 3 of them? And we'd already asked some of this to Ms. Shockley, but the items that are being agreed to by the defendant, the tire iron, the jack, things of that nature, did insurance give you any compensation towards those items?
No. They didn't cover any of the contents of the car.
All right, now, obviously $3,900 is a lot less than the blue book values you stated of 14,000 to 15,900, correct?
Yes.
Did you have to get another vehicle for Ms. Shockley to be able to drive to and from work and in her daily living?
Yes.
Do you recollect what vehicle you purchased to replace the Prius that was damaged by the defendant and totaled?
A 2013 Prius Model 2.
So the same year, it was still a Prius, but it was a Model 2.
Correct.
So you'd previously had a Model 4.
Right.
How is the Model 2 different?
No backup camera, no navigation system. It's just above the base model.
Okay. Does it have any hands-free operation?
It does have the hands-free, but it's a different type of hands-free
Okay.
than what's in the Model 4. A different brand.
So if I'm understanding your description correctly, you replaced the vehicle with something that was a lesser model than what she had been driving on the date of the accident.
with more miles on it.
Okay. Do you recollect what the miles were on the vehicle on the date of the accident?
To be honest, no, we don't. I had an oil change, I believe it was like 198,000.
Okay,
But I think it was just over 200 after, because that's when the oil change.
okay. And then how much were on the new Prius Model 2 that you had to replace that vehicle with?
There's over 200,000. It's 201,000, I believe. That's what it was.
Okay. Now, did you have the money available to purchase this new vehicle? How much did it cost?
It costs, it was 6,500 is what I had to pay for it. Plus taxes and title and all that.
And you'd only received 3,900 from the insurance company, sir, is that correct?
Correct.
How did you make up for the difference?
I cashed in almost 3 years worth of vacation time.
Describe to me how that, first of all, for whom are you employed?
I'm employed by a company called Actilent. I'm a contractor and they are contracted by Lexmark Corporation, which
All
is now
right.
Xerox.
And when you have PTO time, how much do you receive annually?
40 hours. Because I'm a contractor, I only get 40 hours.
Does that time roll over into the subsequent year if it's unutilized?
Yes, they will allow me to roll it over for 3 years.
Okay. Now, did your daughter, Miss Shockley, have the money to cover the difference between what insurance paid
No,
and the price of the new vehicle?
no.
Did you have any other manner by which you could
I had to-
accumulate money to pay for the new Prius?
No, I can't get a loan because I'm in a bankruptcy.
Oh, I understand. Okay. If I showed you a pay stub that indicated the hours that you had to cash in, would you recognize it?
Yes, I would.
I'm going to approach, if I may, with People's Proposed Exhibit 3. And Mr. Chevalier, is that the pay stub that you provided to my office with those PTO hours cashed in?
Yes, it is.
What was the cost of those PTO hours that you had to utilize due to this accident?
The total came into $2,710.72.
Would you have lost that PTO money if you hadn't had to replace the vehicle for your daughter?
No,
Did you have to take any other time off from work after she was injured to assist her with daily living?
I did, but I didn't. I can work remote occasionally, so my boss just let me work remote while I was taking care of her.
How many days were you taking care of Michaela?
It was 2.
With respect to the vehicle insurance for medical coverage, did she have to go to the hospital?
Yeah, she went to the hospital, but our deductible had been met for the year, so the insurance covered the 80%, and then the car insurance covered the rest.
So the family was not out any money for her medical care and coverage. Okay.
I mean, it would have cost for like the medications and that, but those are minimal.
You did not keep a track of the prescriptions or things?
No.
Okay. Is it fair to say that the items that you've turned in for restitution are the major ones and not the entirety of the loss that was
Yes.
suffered? You could have claimed for prescriptions, fair?
Yes.
You could have claimed for some of the other items lost in the car that your daughter mentioned, her clothing, her lip balm, a snow brush, things of that nature.
Yes.
And you both chose not to do that?
Correct.
So,
The jack that was in there is when I get a new car, the first thing I do is get rid of the scissors jack and put a 4-way tire iron and a floor jack in the back of the car because I have daughters and I don't want them out straight and trying to use a Scissors jack.
All right. So in your opinion, the floor jack and things that you provided and that were in this vehicle and were lost are more able to be utilized by your daughters if they were to have a flat tire on the road?
Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
so it's safer for them?
Mhm.
Now, with respect to this, then, you're asking for the lost wages of $2,710.72 for the PTO that you would not have had to cash in, but for needing that money in order to help your daughter replace the vehicle that was damaged.
Correct.
And it actually was your vehicle, fair?
Yes,
Registered and owned by yourself.
we share it.
Okay. Did the insurance company allow you to remove the tires off of the totaled vehicle?
No, and they were shredded. Pretty much. I mean, there was gashes and stuff in them, chunks of rubber. So,
Okay. You were able to go and see the vehicle after the accident?
yes, I was.
Did you go over that at all with the insurance adjuster?
Yeah, we did. We went over everything.
So you saw the condition of the tires as you've just described? Would you still have that PTO in your bank, Mr. Schindler, if this accident hadn't occurred and you needed to replace your vehicle?
Yes, because we were saving it up so that we could go on a vacation this summer.
And other than my adding the exhibit sticker on the back of that case stub, is it accurate as to the loss?
Yes, it's a direct download from my company website.
And thank you. Move for admission of exhibit 3.
No objection.
And exhibit 3 is admitted.
Further questions? Mr. Schindler? Thank you.
Mr. Gibson, you have any questions?
So, sir, you yourself did not suffer any type of physical injury from the car accident that your daughter was involved with, correct?
No, not any physical injuries, no.
Okay. Did you suffer any direct financial or emotional harm as a result of the crime?
Yeah, actually emotional. I mean, my daughter texted me from inside the car because I hadn't got her out yet, that she'd just been rented because the talk to text turned rear-ended into rented.
Did you suffer any direct financial loss as a result of the crime?
My vehicle.
Now, the insurance company, you said they paid you $3,900.
Yes,
Was there a lien against the vehicle?
no, there was not.
So how did you only get $3,900?
Because they couldn't read the odometer. That's what they told me they would give me.
Did you get in touch with an attorney or question that?
No, to be honest, I didn't have the time. I had to get another vehicle. And get
When
it on
did
the
you
road.
purchase the vehicle that was totaled?
2 years prior, I think. Don't know exactly.
So I guess I want to clarify. So you believe the vehicle was worth between 14 to 15.9.
Yes. And that is
You
based on
issued,
my
you had
search.
full coverage. You made a claim to your insurance company and they said they would only pay you $3,900 and you didn't question that. You just accepted.
No,
it.
I did question it. It's just that it would have taken way longer to keep questioning than to do what we had to do to get a vehicle, because we had to be able to get back and forth to work.
Was the air conditioner working in the car at the time of the accident?
Yes, it was.
Was it working properly?
Yes, it was.
So the car had been driven from December until July, until the accident, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So the tires that were purchased in December would have been approximately 7 months old at the time of the accident?
Between 6 and 7, yeah.
And the car was driven regularly for the period that the new tires were on it?
Yes. Not a lot, but yes.
Well, how often was it driven?
Twice a day, usually,
Okay,
or unless we had, had to go shopping or whatever. On average, it would have been about, I would say 60 miles a day or so, 65 miles, something like that.
okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Anything further, Ms. Canfield?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Shibler. You may step down. Any further evidence from the state?
No further proofs, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson, do you wish to produce any testimony or evidence?
That's not gonna- I don't believe so, yeah. I just a closing argument, that's all.
All right, fair enough. Uh, we'll let the state go first, and then you can make yours, Ms. Canfield.
Thank you. Your Honor, as I've stated, we already have the $402.27 for the items in the car stipulated to. Now, with respect to the lost wages of the victim, she indicated that she lost 5 days of work. Approximately 3 of those were covered. So we will be asking for.
She had 2 days off, so she missed 3 days of work, and what for her would be a Saturday and a Sunday.
So, Your Honor, she forfeited those days off by having been injured.
And she was compensated by the insurance company for the days lost. So if you were injured on a Wednesday, you missed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you had Saturday and Sunday off, and you went back to work on Monday. That appears what the insurance company compensated them for.
Well, I still think that she needs 2 days because 5 of those were lost and they only covered and compensated for 3. She is an hourly employee. We're not even asking for the overtime if we're not going to consider the additional 2 hours that she worked of overtime per week. And that is direct income loss as a result of this accident. The court saw the vehicle. It's very fortunate for Ms. Shockley and her family that she was seat belted, and actually for the defendant, because this could have been much worse and she could have been.
Stop. As you may know, I have a sore point for under prosecuted vehicular accidents with an injury. That all goes to whether this should have been a felony rather than a misdemeanor. And so it is terrible. But we got a misdemeanor. We're trying to figure out the restitution. So the fact that it was bad is bad, but it doesn't, isn't relevant to the restitution.
Well, Your Honor, I think it is in the fact that she indicated she had a sprained shoulder and subsequent head injuries.
I
that she
agree
was
100%. That's why
taking-
this should have been an OUIL with a serious injury, but it
Your
isn't.
Honor, I don't mean to be disrespectful to the court. I'm just stating that these are important for the court to hear with respect to restitution, because additionally, her father, although he was allowed to work remotely, also had to provide daily living and assistance for her for those 2 days while she was in the initial injury phase. Now, with respect to that, they also had psychological injury. They're not claiming any compensation for that, although I can't imagine the call being received or a text from a daughter who'd been in an accident and not knowing her condition. With respect to the property damage and loss, it's clear here that the I'm sorry,
Shibler?
thank you. I was just blanking on that last name. Mr. Shibler had testified that he had to replace the Model 2 with, again, the same year Prius, but a lesser, or the Model 4 with the Model 2. And he wasn't even requesting the Blue Book value of the vehicle they lost, only the difference from what the insurance paid to the vehicle that he had to replace. So if purchased at $6,500, only compensated for $3,900, $2,600 would be the difference, but then he had to do 27,1072 of his PTO, because you also had to do the transfer plates, the insurance, the licensing, and the title for that vehicle that replaced the one that was lost due to the defendant's criminal conduct. So I would respectfully request that that entire 271072 be included as well. Now, when you have here a somewhat unusual argument with respect to the air conditioning and the tires, but at this point, Mr. Shibler has testified that the air conditioning had been broken over the winter. It was replaced approximately 6 weeks prior to this accident, and then the vehicle was totaled. The insurance company was provided that cost for the tires as well as for the air conditioning. He indicated they did not compensate him for same, and being unable to utilize that vehicle that was just repaired, it's my belief that the air conditioning cost should also be paid by the defendant. Similarly with the tires, I try to do some quick calculations with respect to the mileage, but it appears that the mileage for those 6 to 7 months of utilization, according to Ms. Shockley and Mr. Shibler, would have been somewhere between 5,000 to 11,000 miles on those brand new tires. At the time the air conditioning was replaced, those tires were checked. They were still in new pristine condition with, say, a little wear and tear. So I believe that the tire amount should be compensated as well, because as Mr. Shibler testified, when he saw the vehicle subsequent to the accident and also met there with the insurance adjuster, the tires were damaged and shredded. They were not able to be saved. Those also were not compensated by the insurance company. And I certainly understand the questions of the defense as to, well, why didn't you challenge that with the insurance company? Why didn't you get an attorney to ask for a higher replacement value for the vehicle, considering the blue book values at the time? He simply said, I was caring for my daughter. I needed to work. He's also testified he's in a bankruptcy proceeding. He's got a lot going on where he just didn't have the time to argue, and they needed a vehicle toot sweet. So they replaced it with a much lesser model in a time that they needed to, so they can continue with their work and daily living. I don't think he should be faulted for the fact that the insurance company chose not to pay the blue book value. We wouldn't have been in this situation but for the criminal conduct of the defendant. So I'm respectfully requesting the items in the car, the 2 days of lost wages for the victim, the PTO loss that was cashed in to cover the balance of the vehicle not covered by insurance, as well as the air conditioning and the tires. And I do believe that those fall all under the income loss and property damage and destruction that are included under the statute under 780.766, as well as the case law previously stated on the record.
Well, the McAvoy case didn't seem to match up with that, at least the one I got. It had to do with whether parents were responsible for restitution for juveniles. So I didn't.
Well, there is also for income loss, Your Honor, People versus Turn, 317 Mishap, 475, as well as People versus Corbin, 312 Mishap, 352 at 371. And all of this, I should note, I've taken out of the bench book for restitution.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson, what's your position?
For any loss wages type restitution, the statute talks about after-tax compensation, so, or after tax, so that should be factored in. So we would ask that roughly that any amounts be made 85% due to the after-tax amount. As far as we have to look at the statutory law. So I understand that the victim, the father of the, well, I guess you could say the father, he paid money, he took time off to pay for a vehicle, but that, I guess, when I look at the statutory structure, I guess all I see is replacement value as far as, returning someone to where they were. If you can't repair the vehicle, then the statute talks about replacement value. So I guess where I'm a little bit confused would be, what would be the difference in the replacement value versus what did the insurance contract pay the victims in this case? I guess most people, would believe that the insurance company would pay, the value of the car or something that would be close to the replacement value. So I guess I'm not clear about that, but in a sense, they're not asking for replacement value, they're asking for paid time off of one of the victims, and I can't see anything in the statute that would.
It's kind of a convoluted way to get at it. Let's say that he cashed in his retirement account and used some money for that, or he used a CD that he had and he had to cash it in early and lost interest on it. It doesn't, to some extent, matter what the source of the funds were that were used, is how much was the cost. Let's say he borrowed it from the bank at 7.5% interest. He would incur an interest cost. So I'm trying to figure out the value rather than where the money came from. But
and maybe it's wrong for me to focus on where the money comes from, because I guess in a sense, he's saying that this was part of the replacement value, but I guess that's where I'm confused, is that it seems like that the insurance company should have paid either the replacement value or something very close to the replacement value. So I guess I guess I'm still not quite clear about that. And I do believe that, any restitution should be offset by any type of insurance benefits that were received by the victims. But as far as the replacement value, I guess the defendant would object to the way that the prosecution has asked for it in this case. So I guess we would object to the $2,710.72. And we would object to now as far as the $559.59 for tires and $424.84, again, we would object to those because I don't believe the statute would call for those. But also, even if we took the state's argument, there was approximately 7 months of tire use and a few months of air conditioner use. So it's not as if those were just brand new repairs that had just been done like the day before. So I would ask the court to take that all into consideration. Thank you.
Brief rebuttal, Your Honor.
yeah,
Statutorily, the replacement value can also be considered the fair market value of the property at the date of the damage, loss, or destruction. Arguably here, it is the cost of the vehicle as testified to by Mr. Shibler, which was $6,500. And again, his PTO covered the portion that the insurance didn't cover. We're not requesting the portion that the insurance covered, only what he had to cover additionally.
yes.
With respect to the after-tax compensation, I've calculated if 2 days are granted by the court, 85% of that would be $200.32.
Yeah, that's the figure I got.
But I still believe that the air conditioning and tires were in the condition relatively new. The air conditioning had been used probably less than 6 weeks and would have presumably been continued to be used for the duration of the ownership of the vehicle had it not been totaled by the defendant's conduct. So again, we would just ask the court order as requested the things mentioned in prior argument. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, as I indicated, this is a topic we discuss with new judges at new judge school. I spent a day with another judge from Farmington Hills teaching sentencing. These are tough questions without clear answers often. the quintessential case where the insurance company pays X and the car owner believes the car is worth much more than that. So the insurance company reimbursed them for this Prius with 200,000 miles on it for $3,900. And I'm sure it was probably worth more than that. But we don't have any real testimony about the fair market value of the vehicle. We have hearsay that Mr. Shibler looked it up on Kelly Blue Book, which isn't absolute gospel, and it was worth substantially more than that, which I don't have any trouble believing. What we do know is they had to buy another vehicle similar with less features. For $6,500. That didn't include taxes, closing costs, and it was a lesser included vehicle. So I'm going to get at this by, and presumably the insurance company has some expertise in valuing vehicles. And I think it's common knowledge they pay less than what the owner thinks the vehicle is worth. This is a no-fault state. If this was a civil case, everybody is presumed to be covered by their own insurance. The Shiblers and Ms. Shockley could have sued for the mini tort difference, but this isn't a civil lawsuit, it's a criminal case. So I'm going to allow the stuff that was in the car that the defendant stipulated to $402.27. Even though it probably was a weekend, she wasn't reimbursed for those 2 days, although $200 for lost wages. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to value the car, 2013 Prius. We do have some logic to replace it with. It was a lesser model and doesn't include the closing costs and the other fees that go with it. So I'm going to allow $7,500 for the new Prius minus $3,900 that they were reimbursed. Is $3,600. The business about the air conditioning and the tires is a red herring. The car is worth what it's worth. So how do you value that? I painted the car in September, so I should include the cost of a new paint job. Last June, I put new leather seats in it. So if we're chasing tires with 10,000 miles on it and a functional air conditioning unit, you would presume that it would be. That's what the car was valued, with functioning air conditioning and tires. The insurance company paid $3,900. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. This was bad, and Ms. Camfield spoke to that. You're lucky that you weren't killed. She wasn't killed. The guy in the other car that took off, they weren't killed. It was bad. And so it is what it is. So I'm allowing, find a note. Total that up. $3,600 for the value of the vehicle that they had to pay to replace it with a comparable vehicle. $200 for lost wages, plus $403, we'll call it, is $4,203, which ironically is close to what they were asking for. So as a condition of your probation, I'm ordering that you pay $4,203 restitution to them for what it cost over and above what the insurance to replace the car, her 2 days of lost wages, and the items that were in the vehicle. So, Ms. Walton, you can amend the probation to include $4,203 worth of restitution.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
In this intense courtroom
$203
moment,
we'll
Melissa
call it.
Pays stands before the judge hoping for probation. But the judge
Is
isn't convinced. After reviewing her criminal
$4,203,
history and the seriousness of the charges, the
which
judge delivers a
ironically is
cold
close to what
decision.
they were asking
Probation
for.
is denied.
So
The courtroom
as a
falls
condition
silent
of
as
your
the judge sentences her to
probation,
9 years in
ordering
prison.
that you pay
This courtroom moment quickly turns intense
$4,203
as a defendant
restitution
raises serious
to them for
accusations
what it
against her
cost
own
over
lawyer.
and above what the
She claims her
insurance to
rights and
replace
privacy
the
were
car,
violated, and her
her 2
emotional
days of
statements
lost
escalate the
wages,
situation
and
rapidly.
the items that were in
As
the
she
vehicle.
continues speaking over the judge, the
So,
tension in the room rises.
Ms. Walton, you can
The
amend
judge
the
steps in
probation
firmly, trying to
to
regain
include
control and keep the proceedings on
$4,203
track.
worth of restitution.
Despite her repeated interruptions,
Thank
the
you,
judge
Your Honor.
makes it clear that courtroom rules must be followed. This powerful exchange highlights the clash between emotion and authority. In the end, the judge's calm but strict response shifts the entire tone of the courtroom.